Tank Top Tuesday on the Shark Cove, let's all celebrate. Two dudes in tank tops to talk about a league. Where to shop? These sharks are the best in the game. Did you know that on the show on Tuesday it's a gun show? The arms out for all to see. Tank Top Tuesday on the Shark Cove, let's all celebrate. Two dudes in tank tops to talk about league. Way to shop, these sharks are the best in the game.
What up? What up? What up? It is another episode of the Shark Cove. Should we know him? We will find out. You should know him. I should know him. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Look, it's good to be back. We had a little bit of time off there. It was kind of strange. We came back for a hot minute, then we left for what seemed like forever. Now we're coming back. It's Tank Top Tuesday, so you know it's a gun show. We've got a couple shows this week. I am out of town on the weekend. I might have some crazy shows. Probably not, though. So we're going to do shows tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday. Unfortunately, you're all going to be on your own for Friday and Saturday, probably Sunday as well. Return next week. We'll have our regular schedule. We'll be good to go from that end. But look, hey, it's exciting. We've got a 4-game slate today, and it seemed like for a long time, it seemed like we were going to lose some of the viability from the DFS space. And we sure have. Look, it isn't as good as it was at this time last year, but it's getting better. We continue to fill the contests. We continue to make them bigger. And hopefully that continues throughout this week, next week. And with some of the other sports kind of on break or their season's over, maybe we'll get a little bit more traction back towards the LOL DFS space. But if not, hey, go check out Underdog Fantasy. If it's legal in your state, it's a great place to be. Having a lot of fun sweating out the ERLs, the NA Challenger, and of course now we've got the LPL. Nothing better than a support kill sweat. Either the under or the over. Really is kind of the peak league experience. Just hoping that somehow your Lulu or your Nami or even your Yumi can somehow snake a kill away from somebody on that team. Maybe it's an ignite. Maybe it's just a crazy last hit. Maybe it's a tower shot after a death. Doesn't matter. They all score the same. Best way to sweat it out is using code COVE for a $100 match. Well, look, let's get right into this. We've got a 4-game slate. We've got 2 games on the LCK side. We've got 2 games on the LPL side. We've got a couple live dogs. And if you've been following anything recently, the dogs have not only been barking, but the dogs have been biting. 5 dogs win on Monday in the LEC. I think we had 2 upsets last night, right? Up was a dog, not a huge one, but they were. And then we had WE. So I don't know. What do we have in store today? We've got a couple bangers. We've got a couple less than exciting matches. Let's take a quick look at it here. Moose will be joining us at some point. I should just add that. We need the window. Let's put the window. There we go. We're going to share this. We've got to bring up that screen. Oh, this is a disaster. Share. Add to stream. Man, it's been a while. There we go. Let's hide this. First game we have at that 3 a.m. start time on the East Coast. We've got the banger of bangers. We've got Nongshim Red Force. We've got Live Sandbox. Live Sandbox is a pretty big favorite here at minus 190. Let's just be honest. This is not the game that you're waking up at 3 o'clock for. This isn't the game that you're staying up and you're excited for. This is a game that is, maybe it is fantasy relevant, but maybe it isn't at the same time. This isn't, the marquee matchup. This is going to be a matchup of two bad teams. Let's take a look at what they had the kill total at the book, kind of evaluate whether or not we want to jump in on it. So the under is at 20.5. The over is 21.5. That's not exactly an exciting kill total if you ask me. But as we take a little deeper dive, before we go too far into the specifics of this matchup, what I do want to bring up, and we'll take a look at it, is these kill totals in the West have been much higher than that in the East. And that's something that, is going to take a little bit of adjusting, at least for me right now. And I think that, when we look at some of these LPL matchups, we got to take a look at them from a different, a different position. You just have to merely look at the games last night. Those aren't ones that if they were on a 4-game slate, you would have been excited to play. I wouldn't have been excited to play. But there are some people that think that they run pure would be slamming LPL games. Dogs are nice, but look, it doesn't mean anything when you only get 14 or 15 kills. A 14 kill game on a 2-game slate, that's one thing. But when we've got 4 games, we've got a couple places where this could pop off. So let's take a quick look to kind of like some trends and totals that we see some of the other places. Of course, I don't know why they changed this, but they did. Here we go. All right. Let's see, is that big enough? I don't think it is. Don't think it is. Let's make it a 165. Okay, so got 165. When we're looking at Nongshim so far this season, they really haven't been able to do a whole lot when they win, or they haven't been able to do a whole lot in terms of winning. Had a couple series so far, Bro, KT, DK, DRX. Not exactly the murderer's row of the LCK. DRX, a really bad team. They were able to take care of business there, but not without dropping a game. Outside of that, the only other game that they took was one off of KT. They've been relatively uninspired in some of these losses, 7-5, 2-8, and 5. Those are not going to get it done. What we have to kind of hope, if we're going to play Nongshim, if we think Nongshim is going to win, is are they going to get a 2-0? Or can they put together kind of a losing effort like the one against Bro, like the one against DRX? Now, maybe that this team has come together. They've had a little bit more time to play. They can do that. Again, they're not exactly playing a Titan over here in Live Sandbox. But Sandbox has been able to win some games here. Sandbox has, beaten the super team HLE, beaten the super team Bro. They had some tough times with Damwon, and Damwon was optimal in that scenario. But like the Sandbox team has, put up some good quality games so far this year. They just haven't scored a ton of points. But as we always say with the LCK, one of the things to look at is the kill participation and the kill share on the, not only on the carries, but the team as a whole. They tend to fight together. That's always been what we've known Sandbox as, at least for the last year and a half, 2 years, whatever you want to say. And while some of the pieces are different, it almost feels like it doesn't matter sometimes. You can take certain teams and replace almost every single player, but that team identity is still there, even with a different coach. Take a look at the Heretics, as they're called over in the LEC. It used to be the Misfits, right? What were the Misfits known for? Losing early games, coming back and winning. That was something we saw how many times last year? And we saw it a couple times so far this year. And that roster has been completely turned over, but still, same type of situation. So, yeah, I mean, when we're looking at the kill totals as a whole here, a lot of these games going under 20, a couple of them over. We look over here at Nongshim, and it's kind of the same thing. So like my initial feeling is that I want to play one of these LCK matchups. I maybe even want to play both of them. We're going to take a look at some of the LPL stuff in a second here, and it doesn't look that much different. On the other hand, we've got Gen G over here who's put up multiple games above that like 20 threshold, getting up into the 30s, whether it be losses that they seeded a ton of kills or the Pez dispenser games against DRX and HLE and Bro, where this guy just absolutely went off. The problem is that in this scenario, Gen G is actually a dog. They are going up against Damwon, who for the better part of the split, 3 series, looked like they were kind of an unstoppable force, that Canna had revitalized this team. And, going into the series against T1, they took the first game, but things kind of fell apart. I would be absolutely lying to you if I said that I've gotten up to watch some of these LCK games, especially on 2-game slates. I haven't. So, I was relying on Moose to kind of be that guy. Hopefully he caught some of the games. He was going to be able to tell us, a direction or two, and maybe he will when he inevitably arrives here at some point stuck in traffic. But that's kind of the one that we so the Damwon Gen G series, if we think back to last summer, obviously both teams in kind of different situations. Gen G trying to have a perfect split for the most part. Damwon comes in and they had a couple banger games. Is this a game that we feel is kind of that classic LCK stalling and scaling? Just making that up right now. Scaling and stalling and scaling. Or is this one of those games where they just kind of open up? I think that we tend to see that sometimes when they play each other, at least in game 1, and sometimes even game 2, at least on the side of the team that may have lost, and that they're looking for, just looking for a spark. And then that third game, they kind of tighten up, they pucker up, as some people would say, and that game becomes a little bit different. So, my initial lean is I really like playing Gen G here. I think I'm betting Gen G. You'd be crazy not to bet dogs, as we've seen recently. Looks like Moose is here. So while we're waiting for him to log on, let's go take a look at the LPL, and let's take a look at some of these kill totals, what I was talking about. Just recently, let's take a look at some of the teams that are on here. We've got RNG. Now, RNG had some higher kill totals. But, I think one of those is from IG, and IG has been the one team that you can kind of rely on to get you a ton of points. Now, they haven't played a ton of games, and so this is a small sample, but you can see these kill totals are outrageous. These kill totals for Billy, they're good, but as we look at some of these other teams, AL recently, the series against UP, 15, 14, and 25, even this Invictus game against RNG was 13-3. We come down here and we take a look at the OMG LGD game from 2 nights ago, and we're looking at a 21 and a 19. This isn't the LPL that we're all used to, and I actually kind of we were going to see a kind of shift to a little bloodier meta, and that's what it felt like almost at the beginning. But as we've kind of seen, the games are really, really they go under 20 into that 16 to 20 range, or they go over 30. There's not a lot in those mid to high 20s. Maybe that's just the way that the game's being played with the meta. But it's something to keep in mind. Now, this RA team was a little bit bloodier. We've got a nice matchup, I think, tomorrow, RA versus Top Esports. That's one to keep in mind. But as even we look through this, obviously UP was really low there, but even these LGD, an organization and a team that has notoriously been just absolute griefers, have not given up a ton of kills, have not gotten a lot of kills, nor given them up. So, things to think about there as I'm trying to stall until Moose gets here so we can talk about these LCK games. Let me see if I can fix this. I really, Jesus. I really don't understand why it makes me do this. But anyway, we should be good from now on. Here we go. We're back. So initial leans on this. I do think Sandbox wins. I don't think that this is a Nongshim game. This is kind of a no bet here for me. I'm not really looking at anything. Just the line's not big enough. These over-unders are kind of in line with what we just talked about. I guess if you feel like it's just going to be a little bit bloodier, that 21.5 is a little attractive. But what we would see is in some of these situations, I'd almost just like go up to the higher numbers, but they're just not giving you anything in the space here. See if they got time totals on this one. I know they do for the LEC right now. And if you kind of paid attention to that, you had a nice opportunity. But no, we don't have that. So as we move over to like Gen G and Damwon, Gen G at plus 147 just feels like a spot that I want to attack here. I don't want to go like the plus 1.5 at minus 200. But I do want to, maybe I sprinkle that, but I definitely think, you know what? If you follow my Twitter, we've just got to make the minus 200 bet for the brand, for the argument that was going on there. I feel like Gen G at least takes a game. That helps cover us. Maybe we even throw 4 units on it just to be a little crazy. And then we go ahead and put a little bit on the win total too. Let's see where they have this one in terms of actual kill totals. This one looks like it's a little bit higher at 22.5, but still not something that's inspiring or exciting in terms of like adding, more kills into the mix for DFS. This one, I think I would actually want to go with the over, that over 22.5. Probably take that for both games. Getting a little less juice on the first one. So let's see what the kill totals are in the LPL. Got, first of all, Invictus here at plus 164. Kill total 25.5 or under 25.5. So look, I mean, what I just kind of showed and what I think where I would probably want to attack some of this is, even going under on some of these numbers like the plus 230 or plus 475, they sure have shown up these numbers. If you remember like last year when they would ladder these, you would get some pretty ridiculous odds by going up. I'm not, I'm not trying to poo-poo a plus 230 or a plus 180, but that plus 550 would have been for like a 32 kill total. You would have gotten like plus 650 on this 18.5. So they must have got hit for that. But so 25, let's see where we are for LNG. We've got LNG at plus 107. Kill total over here. Just want to make sure it's still on the screen. Kill total over here. It's about the same at 25. So obviously this is where we're looking at it, but you know what? Let's hop into this. See if this pops over. Let's hop right into the DFS. Let's see how these teams project out. From the top lane per second. Interesting. All right, so none of the 2-0s saved over. That's cool. We'll have to work on that. But IG comes in first, RNG, then Gen G, EDG, Sandbox, Nongshim, and then Kana, I know, just scores absolutely terrible in the projections. I don't think that's going to be the case throughout the rest of it. Moose, so glad of you to join us. You're gonna have to turn on your mic.
We're on, baby. Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome to the Lunar New Year.
I am ready for some Lunar action on a 4-game slate. We actually have something to cover. You're already looking at lineups? Jesus.
Well, look, Moose. I told the people that I wasn't gonna lie to them. I wasn't going to tell them that I've been waking up to watch 2-game slates on the LCK because I haven't. So, I kind of ran through these pretty quickly. So let me ask you this, Moose. Have you been waking up or staying up, I should say, to watch some of these LCK games that have been going on over the last week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I've been watching the LCK games for sure. I think that the lines tonight are pretty sharp. I like D plus Kia earlier at minus 190, but at minus 200, I don't like them anymore against Gen.
Gotcha.
Hence,
Well, let's talk about this first game first. We've got Nongshim versus Sandbox. Nongshim hasn't been able to produce much in the way of offense, in the way of wins. Recently did get a win against DRX, who, just from statistics, look like one of the worst teams in the LCK, if not the worst. And then Sandbox, on the other hand, actually has put together some surprisingly good wins. Look, we're 4 series in. Don't want to kind of oversell it, but they've got some quality wins under their belt against some teams that I guess we thought would be at least middle of the table towards the top. So deserved favorites here at minus 190, but the kill total's at 21. Where's your lean here? Numbers aside, does Sandbox take this 2-0? Do they go 2-1? And are there more kills than 22?
I would venture to believe a 2-1 is probably in Sandbox's favor. And I'm not really seeing, just taking a quick peek here. Sandbox is averaging about 14 kills in a win, and I don't know. I'm not really liking the over too much. I would probably lean towards the under.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, going into the other game that you were talking about, as we look at this, same kind of kill total, 21, 22. Gen G plus 147, Damwon's minus 185. So you said you liked that. I was thinking that Gen G has a real shot to win this series, and I think Gen G most certainly takes a game. I don't think that this is a 2-0. I think that this is a series that goes back and forth. The question that we have to ask ourselves and maybe answer for the people here is this that classic LCK battle where it's scaling and stalling or stalling and scaling? Or are we going to see kind of a skirmish heavy game here? Moose, the point that I was trying to make earlier is that it seems almost like the reverse roles have happened. The LCK has kind of remained where we thought it was after like a blockbuster banger set of games to start the year. It's kind of regressed and returned to that norm. But we've seen that over in the LPL, which is weird because I feel like in all of the minor regions, in the LEC, in the LCS, we've seen higher kill games. And while I didn't necessarily expect that from the LCK, I at least expected it from the LPL. And we haven't seen that from either of these leagues, save some standout games. Is this one of those games, though?
Yeah, this feels like a banger of a game. I just feel like when I'm watching the LCK right now, it just feels like it's T1 and then like everyone else, right? Like T1 is just so good at what they do, and they're so obviously unique with their decisions and picks with support and all that. And I feel like because of that, this is probably the closest 2-3 matchup we're gonna see in a long time. I think on paper I like Damwon to come out, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go 2-1 either way. I do like the minus 185 line, but at the same time, it's like, are we really going to discredit Gen G when they've won every single series so far except for their starting one with T1?
Yeah, we've got Pez Dispenser over here, and he's just been banging it out since kind of he got going now. The one thing looking through these kind of Damwon drafts, I would say the one thing that I really do like looking at them is they're not messing around with any of this like Varus garbage that you see from certain teams. And like, look, I get it. There's a spot for it, and I understand strong early, but it just tends to kind of fall off. And the way that this Damwon team has been playing, I mean, it's like Zeri, it's Lucian, and it's just funneling everything through Def. So I mean, when we're looking at these bot lanes, this has been like hyper focused for both of these teams because it almost feels like Chovy has, I'm just looking at the statistics. I'm not looking at the games. Maybe taking a step back, he's not farming as much. It's like 1 to 2 CS, 1 to 1.5 different. I mean, he was extremely high, but they're funneling that into Pez. And then if you look at like the Damwon kill share, like the numbers have to be adjusted in the projections because like Deft has like a 50% kill share. Now it's hard to kind of normalize that when they're getting like 10 kills over 2 games and a 2-0 sweep, and Deft gets like 9 of those. But like all focus is going to be on this bot lane, and I can only imagine that there's going to be some, some craziness at the beginning of the game. So the real question that people probably are asking themselves, Moose, is are we going to get some support kills out of this game? Do you think the support kill overs on underdog, or hires, I should say, are a play that you want to make? I was telling the people there's no better sweat than support kill sweats.
Yeah, support kill sweats are definitely a sweat for a reason because you never know what's going to happen. But I just don't see Kelly getting a lot of kills.
Yeah, I mean, look, he could, somehow steal one, healing Deft. Like the wave bounces off. He's playing Lucian Nami, or maybe he's playing the Lulu. These enchanters get kills, man. They get kills. I don't know. Okay, so we'll table that. You're liking Damwon. I'm liking Gen G. Let's move over to the series that I think is going to have the most attention. The one that, a team has kind of asserted themselves over the first 2 series, and we get to see them right here on the first 4-game series. You know who I'm talking about. I'm, of course, talking about Invictus Gaming. Invictus Gaming comes in as a dog. We know how Invictus Gaming is as a dog. However, I think Invictus might even have higher ownership than EDG today.
Yeah, I want all of Invictus Gaming at plus 164. I feel like this line is absolutely ridiculous, and I know Nate probably disagrees because for some reason he's in love with EDG, but I mean, there's no question about it. Like, IG's roster is good. I mean, they're a good team. I love watching them play, and I would definitely like to root for them to make it to the playoffs. And it starts with getting a dub right here against Edward Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is an exciting matchup because I was pretty high on Invictus. I didn't pull the trigger on an over 4.5 wins. That feels like it should have been an absolute lock. But I will tell you what I pulled the trigger on. It was EDG under 10.5, and this would go a tremendously long way to helping that become a reality. Because look, I think that Invictus is exciting to watch, but I don't want to oversell this team and get too excited about them. Let's pump the brakes. Who did they play? They played a Mingless RNG with Bunny, and and then they played Anyone's Legend, who's looked quite possibly like the worst team in the league. So those things being said, Edward Gaming is going to be they are the most expensive team on the slate.
They are?
They are the most expensive team. Yeah, we take a look at this in a lot of cases. Look,
so nobody's going to play them?
Expensive. Ale's expensive. Gala's right up there with Leave. Leave's the most expensive. Miko's the most expensive. Is it's Angel, or is it this other guy?
Tango Yan, I think.
It's Tango Yan again? Ooh, that's a good line.
Tangy Yan. Yams.
Yep. Tag you in. I don't know if that's how you say his name. It's probably not. But like, look, man, they're going to be expensive. Like, do you think people are going to play him? I don't know. I don't think that they will. I think that this is a situation that while the odds are Invictus as a dog, I think Invictus has higher ownership than EDG. I think Invictus is just ridiculously high owned today.
Yeah, I think IG is definitely gonna. I don't know if ridiculously high owned, but definitely, definitely a good chalk dog, right? Like who else?
They are the chalk dog. Like
let me see who else. Like Gen G, right? Gen G is like the chalk dog. Maybe even NS in some cases. Looks like man. It's a good slate.
Look,
the contests suck, but it's a good slate.
Look, the contests are getting better. They're getting better. We've got to fill them up. You think about what they were, before the Lunar New Year. We saw the LEC slates get better. We saw the LCS slates be like playable. They're getting better, man. They're getting better. Just got to keep filling them, keep working at it, keep
Yeah,
grinding.
I might play the Shock Blast if it's gonna look this good. I might just max it then. I wasn't gonna be, but if there's just feels like all of the dogs are live tonight.
Yeah, I mean, all the dogs have been live for the last 2 weeks, for the last month.
Did you see that tweet some guy made that I commented on, where he was like, "Oh, I bet the house on V5 or NIP to beat RA and they lost or whatever," and I was like, why would you go all out like that on an LPL game, especially coming back from the Lunar New Year? Like nobody's watching. It's the perfect match to.
No, I didn't see that tweet. I'm going to look at it now. Let's see. Oh, okay. It was Koviet.
Who's this Koviet guy?
He's a big prize picks guy. He was a lot of winner take alls. He did a lot of DFS. I don't think he does right now, but he used to. But okay. So we've got one other game though, Moose. We've got the team like that we were just talking about with Tanyan. We've got Bunny. We've got an RNG team that, I don't know, everybody when we were doing the tier list forced me to put RNG like way higher than I wanted to, going up against an LNG team who I also bet they're over on their win totals, which was 6.5. I think that this is a spot that LNG, they're barely a dog here. They're plus 107. But yet again, we have another spot where the dogs are live. But when we look at these teams and we look at how they've played and we look at their kill totals, the reality is that like IG is just going to stick out, even though the kill totals of both of these two LPL games are 25. They're the exact same. How much interest do you have in this LNG roster?
A lot. I like this LNG roster, and I wish the odds were better. I just don't feel like they're strong enough for me to take the odds. But at like plus 107 or whatever it is, plus 103 on Bet Online is just like a slap in the face. And I mean, it seems like the books are getting sharp because I thought off of name value RNG would be like minus 200, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, so LNG in their first series they played TT. That felt like a pretty good win at the time, right? Because TT coming off of last season, at least I think the Sharks knew that TT was a good middle of the table team that was progressing, but TT has looked absolutely atrocious right now. It's TTT right now, Tank Top Tuesday, but Thunder Talk Gaming just have, I don't know, losing to WE. I mean, it is a Shanks meta. Losing to LNG, I don't know. I don't know how good they are, and it makes it very difficult for me to assess how good LNG is. Same thing like we were talking about earlier with Invictus. Invictus beating AL and beating RNG doesn't tell me a whole lot. It doesn't, give me the confidence. I feel more confident in like the sandbox play, and I think that the Spell makes a good point here. There's no way Nongshim is the chalk dog. I think Nongshim is going to be the least owned dog of the three of them. Nobody's going to want to play Nongshim. I don't want to fucking play Nongshim. I'm going to play him. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Nongshim, didn't they win one game?
Nongshim has won 3 games, including a 2-0 series over DRX, and then they took a game off of like was it Bro or KT or something like that?
Oh no, yeah. They upset DRX, and then they've just been getting.
I mean, was it an upset? I mean, DRX won their first game against Nongshim, but then were able to beat KDF. Like those are 3 teams that are pretty bad. Like Bro is really bad. I mean, those teams are bad, right? So is it an upset? Like, are we like who's upset? You're upset. I'm upset. We're going to wake up tomorrow and be upset if we play Nongshim? I think we are. I think we've got our answer, though. Look, Spell's playing Nongshim. This motherfucker, let me tell you something. Every time one of my underdog bets doesn't hit, I know this motherfucker's got to slip with it. I know, like it's his one play. Like this dude needs to sell his locks. He needs to, just so I can avoid them. I will promote the hell out of them. I don't want to be there. But Moose, 22 kills, a 22 kill win. And my ADC with a 35-40% kill share can only get 4 kills. Come on, man. Come on. So let's hop into this, Moose. Let's hop into making some lineups.
Nongshim feels tasty. Lone dog.
Just go all in Nongshim, right? So you can wake up at 4, see whether the LPL's on. Maybe Kitty's casting, maybe she's not. You see that Nongshim has just lost their first game 2-12, and you can just go right back to sleep. You can just go right back to sleep and know that it's over. Or you can see that Nongshim just won a banger. 17 kills, 85% kill participation. You start posting your lineup like Gugs. You show, like, I've got Nongshim with everybody. And you get really excited. No one asked you. No one asked you to see your lineup, but you're going to post it anyway.
Oh,
and then they lose 2-12 the next 2 games. Those are the scenarios that happen. But Moose, let's get into this. Are you playing cash? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm playing cash.
Where are you going first? Do you think all the dogs are live? Look, man, I don't know. Have you been playing cash like the last 2 weeks?
No, I don't play 2 game slates cash. So for
Did you play cash in LEC?
Yeah, I played
LCS?
LEC. I played LCS cash at LEC.
Did you play LEC on Monday? Yesterday? Did you play cash yesterday?
No, I didn't. I forgot that there was a Monday slate, so I just didn't play it. Because everybody got upset. Did you see
what happened?
Everybody got upset. Yeah.
It was a full upset. We've got Gugs in here. I was referring to it. He was posting his lineup after Astralis won because he didn't have XL and everybody had XL. But then G2 and Rogue both lost. I know that I was helping out NBA Live, giving him some advice. And I was like, bro, this feels like a shit cash slate, man. I don't like it. I was looking at it. I thought G2 was the only favorite that was going to win. They didn't even pull it off. I can only imagine what 50-50s and heads up look like. But tonight, where are you starting? I guess you have a lot of confidence in Damwon. Is that the first place that you want to be, or is this kind of like a Frankenstein slate where you're trying to put together a couple different lineups?
Yeah, it's kind of a Frankenstein slate. I mean, just playing it off of. Oh God, this is awful. Just playing it off of odds. I mean, you have to look at Sandbox, right? Like Sandbox has to be the team where you look at it the best. You could go with Sandbox Damwon, Sandbox EDG.
I mean, hey, you've got an ADC captain here. You got Deft in there. Kale, look, say what it's worth, but hey, Kale is a killer. There are 2 supports here, and I'm going to throw this out there for you. Spell, I know you're watching. I don't care. You can tail these. You can Black Widow bite these all you want. We're going to put together Kale higher. I think it's like 1.5, maybe. Maybe it's just 1, and we're going to put them with Wink, who I definitely think is a 1.5 or a 2. Let's go actually pop that through. Let's take a look here. We've got the rivals. Let's see. Okay, Kale over 1 kill. He's a killer. I'm telling you. Half the time he's a killer. The other half he's not. And we're going to throw that in with not a bunny. Where's Wink? What's Wink's number? Wink would be up here, right? Let's see. Give me a second. 1.5. So lock it in. Higher 1.5 kills for Wink. Higher 1 kill for our boy Kale. Anyway, so let's say we got a 454 right here, Moose. One of the things I want to do here. Let's see. Let me know if this works. Let's go to. Can you do this? No, you can't do that. I was wondering if you could. Kind of seeing if I could get Deft captain in there. Deft, I mean, when they win, it's just been him getting kills. So I wanted to see if that worked. Let's try and put Damwon with another favorite, or you said Sandbox with maybe Let's see with EDG. How does that feel? 442, closer captain, Fofo and leave. You're 4 sandbox. You're with EDG. Thoughts?
I don't hate it, but make sure to hedge it. Man, I don't know where I'm gonna go in cash tonight. It's a bad cash slate. A lot of upsets.
I mean, you
I
go
can just see
RNG.
it, bro. I can just see it in my head that like everything we think is like either completely wrong or completely right. Like who knows? Maybe EDG just wiped the floor with IG, but it is perfectly possible. But yeah, no. Is RNG expensive? Is that why they're like you're not able to make a? That feels like
You're able to do Gala Captain. I mean, look. I mean,
yeah, but that's
like
not
you
a
could.
that's not a cash thing. We're not cash.
What do you
That's not a
mean, Gala Breathe Way? Like you got 2 favorites here. You're going ADC Captain with Gala Breathe and Way. You don't have to get Tangoon. You have to play Bunny, but you're playing all the carries here. I think you can do just about anything that you want as long as you're not including EDG. You throw EDG. I mean, this is my point though. Like, there's not going to be a ton of EDG that's going to be played unless people are going to stack some of these other dogs and play them with EDG. Obviously, they're not in cash, but like you're playing EDG, you're playing support lineups. I mean, they're looking to score similar, but the only team that you can get a carry captain is with Sandbox, and that's going to be a closer captain. You get Leave and Fofo. Keep out GG. Keep out what's his name, Ale, and you're good to go.
I don't know. I don't like it, man. It's a little sketchy to me. That's a close game.
That's nice. It's nice spell. Thank you. I mean, I searched the names after, but this is helpful.
Man, are we really just playing Sandbox and cash? It's a rough day. It's a rough life out here, man.
Look, Moose, it's exactly what we talked about. You go ahead and play Sandbox and cash, right? And then you just go all in. You max in the Shock Blast, and you play just Nongshim, right? And and you hope you grind out a profit on one way or the other. You hope that you can have an M. Bellman type of night where you're just all over that leaderboard, 1st through 15th, except for a couple slots. But with all that being said, Moose, I don't think that we've given the people that are watching, the people that will watch, the people that are no longer watching, I don't know if we've really given them anything. I don't know if I have anything to give. We've basically said we think all the dogs can win, but they might not. It's a great GPP slate. It's terrible for cash. I have no idea what we're doing. IG is going to be over-owned. I think that there was a brief segment where we were talking about playing Nongshim like ad nauseum, and then we just said to play Sandbox and cash. So really feel like we're sending out some mixed messages here. I'm really mixed up. It's funny because, look, News, coming into today, I was driving around earlier today. I forgot my phone. I had to drop my wife off to work. And so instead of watching TikToks while I was driving, I just had to be in my own mind, right? And I was thinking to myself, man, I don't know who's playing, but I feel kind of dialed in right now. You know, I feel really good. I'm predicting Ultra League games. I'm going like 5-0. Super League, I'm doing like 5-0. LEC 4-1. I felt dialed in, Moose. And I was like, I think I'm going to look at this data and I'm going to have some concrete takes and it's going to be amazing. And I sat down and I looked at it and I have no fucking idea. None. It feels absolutely terrible. What I do know is what we've already said, that Nongshim is going to be the lowest owned team on the slate. IG is probably going to be up there as the highest owned dog. I think from that standpoint, Gen G is going to be under owned, and I think RNG is going to have way less ownership than they should. I feel like despite the kill total at 6.5, or not kill total, but win total for LNG at 6.5, I think that there's a lot more hype surrounding them. Maybe it's the echo chamber, maybe it's just you and me, maybe it's the people that we talk to. But I think that people are probably down on RNG right now because of Bunny, because of that game against IG. And I don't think that they're going to be owned. And I certainly don't think that they're going to own this LCK, either side of this, nearly as much as they should. And when we look at these outside of like some of these, absolutely atrocious ones like Canna. You know, a Peanut
What was that? What was
in
that
a
noise?
I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I had to like Peanut right there. He's good. He's good from a point perspective.
I think
We,
it's a weird slate, man, because like we wanna like I think we can both agree that like gun to our head, the team that you relied the most on winning tonight is Sandbox, right? But they don't score for shit. They don't score points. Except for Kale. Sometimes scores some points.
nah, he's a killer, man. He's
Yeah, he's a killer, dog.
yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you something here. Okay. I know you're making fun of this right
By the
now.
way, please send me your projection.
Look, look at that. 11 kills, 1 kill per game.
Absolute
It's not every game. It's not every game, but it's a lot of them.
absolute
Yeah,
Chad. Absolute Chad.
yeah. You know the other guy right here. Look at Delight. Delight is another guy that's getting a lot of kills. Kellen's getting a lot of kills. We've got a lot of killers. You know who's not a killer? Peter. You can take the under on Peter. Um,
Peter's a
man,
killer. Anybody who uses the a first name as a gamer name is a certified serial killer.
that's fair enough, man. That was my
Like
Discord
Mark.
name for the longest. You know, as my name, but we had to change it to the hierarchy. Oh
Why
man.
is it the hierarchy?
Because Gug said that there's a hierarchy to shit and that like, there's politics and I'm censoring him and I banned Mike B and
R.I.P. Mike B. Gone but not
yeah.
forgotten.
You know what's funny is every time that he puts that in the Discord right now, the free Mike B, I just go ahead and I delete it. I just delete it. It's
Where
fun.
is where is Mike B? Mike, if you're out there, we could come on the show. You could appeal directly on the Shark Cove.
I don't think that's going to happen. I see Mike in other Discords, and his takes
Well,
are still as awful as they've
he's
always
got
been.
nowhere to go now. He's sad.
Oh man! Wow, look at this. We've got Prodigy's riding with Gen G. It's funny because Prodigy to me is like he's confused. He hates the LCK. He loves the LCK. He can't. He's on the exact opposite side of it. He hates them in DFS. I love him in DFS, but he hates them, or he loves them in best ball. I hate them in best ball. I think it's the other way around, but I don't know, man. I first round picked Vithio. What the fuck do I know? So yeah. So anyway, I know what I wanted to go into in here. Let's take a look at something on Sandbox because what is Moose the redeeming factor for some of these teams sometimes is their kill participation, right? And in wins, you look at this and they don't even score well in this. Look at this, Moose, like in their wins, and they have 6 of them.
They don't score well.
Closers
They're
a
a small
57.3. 57.3. That's like a top laner kill participation. As a matter of fact, it is the top laner's kill participation. Birdall at a 57.3 as well. Envy gets a ton of points. Kale scores well. I think if I'm playing Sandbox, I'm playing Envy, I'm playing Kale, and I'm playing the team slot. And those are the 3 things that I'm looking at. From a first blood standpoint, I think that they probably do pretty well. And that's a team point, right? That's a team point that you need first blood. Nongshin's at 70% of the time, but Sandbox is actually at 55% of the time. Fuck me, I don't know what I'm saying. But if they 2-0 them, they're still going to score well. And so I think that you just kind of go into some other places. So, like, if you double LCK'd, just absolute Chad energy here, can you do a def captain?
Yeah, I think you should be able to.
You can't. Oh, well, you need 2 teams. This is a good point.
You have to be vaccinated to do that line.
Problem is, you put Closer and Birdall in this lineup, so I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess my concern with
My question
the top laners
is how did Nate get into the betting books? Like, why is EDG's minus 200 to beat anybody?
I thought you were saying like, how did he get a job at Underdog? It's like, I mean, well, he applied and they got
EDG
in there.
has
But
played one game. They 2-0 WE. That's it. Maybe EDG are crazy good, bro. Maybe I'm tripping.
Look, here's the thing that we have to remember: if EDG wins against IG, they're probably going to score pretty well, right?
Oh, I think they would be the nut unless RNG pulls it out in like their typical 2-1 style.
So look, if we think that EDG is going to be underowned, do you think that like EDG, like, okay, but like the thing is, so if somebody's playing EDG, they're like 100% playing EDG with like Gen G, right? Like they're playing Gen G, they're playing LNG. So I don't know, man. I'm going to play some Nongshim EDG, and I think they're both going to lose, and it's fucking dumb. But
EDG
I think I'm
are
going to
for
go
sure
there.
they're gonna be the team that are gonna be the least owned. I think of the favorites because they're so high priced.
What do you think about in winner take alls? I don't know. I know Prodigy, who's watching, likes to play just winner take alls. That's what he said at least like a week or two ago. That's all he plays. And hey, look, I get it, man. You get some pretty exciting action on winner take alls. Do you think people are going to play IG in winner take alls?
Oh yeah, I think it's gonna be packed with IG. Yeah. It's gonna be a bunch of IG out there. IG Gen, IGDK, IGSB, IG.
But that's the thing. If you want to play, but the thing, yeah, I mean, you're playing IG, you're playing them with, like, so you. What do you play? You play EDG. I don't know, man. I think maybe you play like this EDG sandbox thing. Like, is this like a winner take all lineup?
Let me see. What is it?
Fuck, it's terrible, dude.
It's ass, bro.
So wait. Maybe you do something like this, right?
Are there any roster changes, or everybody's playing the same crap?
Fuck, that lineup looks like shit. No, they're about the same. I mean, actually, this scores really well. You get a scout.
I like that. I like LNG with EDG. I mean, look, like the LNG RNG matchup is going to game 3. Like, if you have any balance in your account, just take the over 2.5. Like, it's gonna happen. There is no 2-0 in that matchup.
Yeah.
Like, in what world do we wake up and LNG or RNG are not 2-1?
I don't know. RNG went 0-2 to IG, so
yeah, but we expected RNG to 2-0 there, so it was a different.
We did. Yeah, I mean, I guess the point about LNG is like LNG has a pretty, the roster is good.
Yeah, why are IG ranked so high, bro? Well, sorry,
why are
EDG ranked so high? Like, why are they?
Look, okay. So if I look at
these, did Bovada like not get the updates on the roster? Or... I guess
I mean,
right?
Again, they haven't beat anybody. They beat a neutered RNG team, and they beat AL, who's won one map against Up. I mean, I think the challenge that I have here is like, look, when I'm trying to kind of project this out, Nongshim in a 2-0, I have them winning with 30 kills. I have Sandbox 30 kills. IG and EDG, like I have IG at 36, EDG at 32. I have Gen pretty up there too against Damwon, but like I can see that the range is so low. I think I've got LNG at like 17 kills per win, so 34. I think I might play that EDG LNG lineup just on the basis that like you got to find some way to put it together. Zeka is not Zeka, whatever. He's actually not in the Fantasy Labs player pool, but I have him at like an 80 for a top laner. He has a crazy kill participation. Give me a second here. Let me get to this. If you look at all the other tops, it's 80 in a 2-0. He would be at a 65, so it's not that good, right? That puts him at the third highest though. So, all right, Moose. Final predictions, final thoughts, anything that you want to add to this? Like, look, you don't have to have something. We're going to do a couple underdog picks. We're going to run through these, not just the support ones. We're going to take a look at a couple, and we're going to put together a ticket here.
Yeah. Let's put a ticket together, but I like IDG over EDG. I don't know. For me, it just I
Hot
think
take.
I think the line is just wrong. And when I saw it, like my eyes popped out. And I think the reason why the line is so high is because the books don't know that EDG is like a different team now. That being said, EDG aren't a bad team. They're just not the EDG that we know, right? They're not the Scout Viper EDG. So, Gen DK, I would lean Dam one, but I feel like it's Dam one D plus whatever. But it can go either way. But I definitely think that like gun to my head D plus, LNG RNG I would take 2-1 RNG, and Sandbox is the only team that I feel good about tonight.
Got it. Got it. Do you think that Gen G can take a game though? Like, if you wanted to play like some weird lineup with like EDG and Sandbox, throwing in like a Gen G, like, do you think you can get some like value out of it? Like, if you think EDG is going to score really well, like, let's say we put together like this lineup, okay? So we throw in the Gen G because it's super cheap. It's the cheapest team slot, right? Then we drop all of these. We do something like this. We've established that we want Envy and we want KO because he's a killer. And then you just get rid of this and you do some leave, Ale, GG, and then you grab a little bit of Fofo. You can't even do it. Can't even do it. Unbelievable. All right, never mind. Yeah, I think Sandbox 2-0s. I think that they're the heroes that they've always been. They don't have the Prince anymore, but they have our King KO. So that's where I'm going to go with that. Let's put together a slip here. Hey, I don't know if somebody in the chat wants to, or let's make some suggestions on some of these picks here. I'm going to pull some stuff out. We're going to take a look. This is not the sheet that I wanted. Moose, I'm going to run through these. You can see them. Do you want me to make it bigger for you?
No, I can see them. I'm just gonna make it a little bigger for myself. You should know me, yeah. YSKM. I love that name.
All right.
It's a good
So,
ass name. You should know me.
so here's the first one that pops out, Moose. And I don't necessarily know if this is where I want to go, but like, if you felt absolutely confident that IG was going to beat EG, Dove at 4.5 kills feels really good. I have him at 7.5 in a sweep. I have him at 5.8 in a 1-1 because this is just games 1 and 2. So that's the first one. Just think about that for a second here. RG, LNG. We've got Zika at 5 kills, which just seems incredibly high for a top laner. It seems incredibly high, but I do have him projected actually at 6.8 in the sweep, 5.7 in a 1-1, which makes that a pretty attractive line. My problem, I guess, is that the data is just very noisy for LNG. They haven't played a ton of games. So some of these percentages where it's being drawn from aren't necessarily the most reliable. Do you have any interest in that line or in Wei at 5 kills himself?
No.
Okay, it's fine.
No.
So what about Envy here? I think that I guess the biggest problem, 7.5 kills for Envy.
That's a lot of kills. Has he scored 7.5 kills in any of the other matchups?
I mean, to put it.
Oh yeah, he has, bro. He's been popping off. His last outing against Bro was kind of sad. But man, that's probably a good bet. I mean, you got 10 kills against HLE and 14 against KT. He's kind of a killer, an LC killer.
All right, I don't know if I love that line though. Canyon, 5 kills.
We got to take KO over 1, right? That's a guarantee. Like this.
Yeah, we're gonna take Kale over 1. I think that's great. I mean, he gets 1 kill in those 2 games. It pushes. It's a great place to be. I don't think we want anything to do with Fiesta. What about Doran or Canyon here? Like, Canyon has not been a killer for years.
No, Canyon's not playing the game. I don't know what he's doing. He needs to go back to playing mid or whatever he did that one time. He's just not a kill-minded jungler, He just wants to set up. I mean, you know how D plus is. They want to set up their team in a macro scenario for their carry to carry late game. And when we sat here before their first game, remember we were talking about it, and I even laughed. I was like, "Yo, like," because you said like, "Oh, what if Deft gets all the kills?" And then guess what? Deft is getting all the fucking kills. And I like after that first game, I was like, "Wow, like they're really just feeding Deft." So
And
yeah,
it's been the case. It's been the case. All right. So look, we don't love anything on this board. I think that like a lot of these numbers are kind of where they need to be. And I think that the biggest problem that you have sometimes when you look at these is the uncertainty. Like they're all like
what is Doran at? Doran?
3.5. And I actually think that I like
I
that as
like
an
that. I
under.
like that. I'll take Doran 3.5.
Higher or lower? I'm thinking lower.
Oh no, higher for sure. He hasn't had a game this season under 4.
What about the first two games where they lost?
They lost against T1 and he scored 4 kills.
In those two games?
In the T1 game, he scored 4 kills, yeah.
Well, there's 2 games. 4 kills total in each of the games, or like?
No, he scored 4 kills total in 2 games.
I mean, that's tough, man. Let's do this. Okay, we've got the Kale. We love the Kale line. King Kale.
Do you think that Gen G can win a game?
I do. That's the problem.
Then I think Doran over 3.5 is fine.
All right. Well, let's take a look at a couple other things here. Apparently, this one's off the board. People are betting this one. We've got GG versus Fofo. We're spotting GG 2.5 kills. If you think IG is going to win, like at least one of those games, I think you take GG here at 2.5. I love these big spreads. Hopefully GG like steals some kills. He's not playing V or Phi or whatever, and he's playing like Wukong or something, and he gets some kills. Maybe a little Evelyn.
Well, we don't have a lot of data on EDG, but in their first game against WE, GG put on 4 kills, and Fofo gave us 7. So,
Sure.
I mean, the line is pretty good. I would probably venture to believe that
Was that a win or was that a loss though?
against WE, they 2-0'd them.
Oh, okay. Well, so in wins, just perspective, like in wins, the carries tend to get more of those kills. In the losses, like a lot of the kills come from like early skirmishes and stuff like that, sometimes getting it back. And so sometimes the junglers outperform in those losses.
That bet. I like that bet. I'll take 2.5 JJ.
Or we could take 1.5 against Ale.
No, I like JJ against Fofo better. Let me see Ale thing. Ale can kind of pop off sometimes, right?
Yeah,
Man,
I mean,
1.5 against Ale might be even better.
So here's the one, and I think Kevin was alluding to this, right? Ali went +1 versus Fofo. Yeah, look, this is the one, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could smash every single one against Gideon, but I think that's the spot that we go to right there.
I love that spot. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah,
you should know me against Gideon. Honestly, the reason that I really like this is, I like this. Even if they lose, I think this number looks fine. So I think that there's a possibility like this one right here. If they get 2-0'd, they get shit on. On doesn't outscore Gideon. Like neither of them get a lot of kills. But I think even if they lose, YSKM should beat Gideon by a kill. There should be no problems with this.
Question is how does Gideon have a job?
I don't know.
Like what did Gideon do to get this job? Like was there not enough? Yeah, was there not enough like Chinese junglers? Like you got what's his name? Tion Zen, right? On the RNG bench or something. That dude's a monster. That dude's a freaking monster. Was he on IG's bench or RNG's bench?
Who?
Tion Zen.
I don't know.
He played a lot in the
I know who you're talking about.
Cup in the Weibo League. He's Invictus's backup jungler, and the dude is just a slammer.
Well, he might get out there at some point. Let's talk about this though. So, RNG Breathe versus Tang Yuan. I don't know if I really like this one. I've actually got Breathe in a sweep outscoring them. I have them equal, which makes sense. I mean, actually, yeah. So this is equal. This is not one that I want to touch.
Yeah, I think it's anybody's game in here. That Tenguan dude hasn't been scoring very well though. He's only had in the 2-0 against OMG he had 4 kills, and in the loss against IG he had 2 kills. And Breve had I think 7 kills and 5 kills. So far Breve is leading, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it flip.
See if we can get these open.
I like that Breve plays for RNG instead of BLG now, because it's true that every time you watch RNG, you have to breathe, otherwise you're gonna choke and asphyxiate yourself watching that team play sometimes.
So I think I really want to take this, but I think so. I believe that they've probably taken a bunch of money on this. Chris and Nathan are asleep at the wheel right now. Understandably so. It's 10 o'clock. It's probably like 2, 3 in the morning for Nathan. But I definitely think that I'd rate Scout over LP here, like 100%. So the question is, like, let's see what we can do right now. Do you think we go Scout with Tarzan, or do we just kind of look at what else we can get here?
Yeah, Scout over Tarzan seems like a really, really good bet in a win or a loss.
Well, it's a 1.5. Let's take a second to think about closer versus Willer.
Do I have to?
What about Birdall versus Willer?
Ah, God. It feels like that team is allergic to kills. Birdall in the first 4 games, the loss to DK. Other than that, he's averaged above 4, 4, 6, and 7. Willer so far in their 3 wins has averaged 5, 7, and 7. And then
What about
Closer has
this one,
averaged
Moose?
11,
What about
5,
this
and
one?
9. Oh.
Like this Def versus Canna is one that I really like. Def versus Showmaker. This is a little problematic here. But what about Showmaker versus Canna? Like Showmaker cannot be this allergic to getting kills, right? Like at some point he's got to wake up.
Showmaker 6, 2, 4, 8 in their last 4, and Canna 4, 4, 5, 5. So probably a fade, honestly.
Okay.
I don't know what Showmaker we're gonna get. I think people that like Showmaker gotta take a breather.
I'm trying to find some plays here, Moose. That's all it is.
Showmaker's best attribute is that he performs performs really well in losses.
Well, what about Kissy versus Babip over in the Oceanic League? I don't know, Moose. Looks like we only like 3 of the plays. The other plays are grayed out. I'm waiting to see if we can get them open up.
Canna +3 versus Deft. Yeah, I'd still probably take Deft there.
Deft.
They're just feeding.
Canna, Scout. Which one else? Scout. OP. I mean, is it? I don't know. Let's refresh it. Let's see. I hope we didn't lose everything here. Great content. Awesome. Read my chat. Oh, gotta refresh. All right, well, the whole site's down, so that's cool.
That's all for us, folks. Use code COVE.
Oh, man. We broke it. Anyway, all right, so All right. Well, we'll figure that out after. So we had You Should Know Me. What were the other two? I don't know. They're on stream. You saw them, guys. Go ahead and bet that. That's the ticket to tail. That's all for now. We'll be back tomorrow. Moose, so you know the schedule. We're back tomorrow. We're back Thursday. And then we're off Friday, Saturday. So enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the night. I'll talk to you guys later. Let's cue the music. It's time to go.
We can talk LCS tomorrow too.
We sure can.